Soldiers from two opposing countries are trapped in the same trench. Sometimes they're at each other's throats, and other times they're chatting and laughing. Lying on the ground is the comrade of one of them. Underneath him is a bouncing landmine. If he moves, nothing will survive within a 40-meter radius. To rescue them, both sides called in the United Nations peacekeeping forces. The peacekeepers then brought in a landmine expert. Can the three of them be successfully rescued? And why are they trapped here? The story begins last night, in a deep fog where you couldn't even see your own toes. In this pitch-black night, where are we? Don't lead us into the enemy camp. To prevent getting lost, the guide decided to rest in place and move at dawn. The next day, as expected, the unexpected happened. They saw the enemy's flag in front of them. Before they could react, the chubby one was shot dead. Then came a burst of machine gun fire, followed by tank bombardment, and a reinforcement squad disappeared. For convenience, we'll call the reinforcement squad Party A and the attackers Party B. Both sides witnessed the earlier attack. One from Party A miraculously survived the bombing. To protect himself, he hurriedly picked up a gun. Party B sent two people to check the situation. They crawled through the grass, cautiously approaching the edge of the trench. One from Party B said, "No problem, come down, keep it quiet." Party A heard the noise, but it was too late to grab the gun. He quickly hid in a pit to prevent the two from reaching the outside of the pit, where Yan saw the gun nearby. One from Party B told him not to touch anything. If it's a booby trap, we're done for. They looked into the pit but saw no one, then went to search elsewhere. Taking the opportunity, Party A came out, retrieved the gun, and hid back in the pit, cocking the gun. In a short while, the two might bring back a corpse. One from Party B took out a mine. Guess what this is? Isn't it a landmine? No, it's called a bouncing mine. What do you think will happen if the enemy steps on it? It will definitely explode. No, stepping on it does nothing, but once you lift your foot, it jumps 3 feet high and can destroy everything within a 40-meter radius. After explaining, he buried the bouncing mine under the corpse. If Party A comes to check, they'll all be killed. The two were just about to rest. At this moment, Yi realized the gun from earlier was missing. Before they could react, Jia Yi came out shooting, and Yi was shot in the abdomen and fell to the ground. Jia Yi wanted to finish him off but couldn't bring himself to do it. While Jia Yi was checking the trench, Yi tried to reach for the gun, but Jia Yi knocked him over and threw the gun out of the trench. The area around the trench was filled with landmines, so Jia Yi didn't dare to leave recklessly. The Alpha team was observing the trench and saw a surprising scene. Soldiers from opposing sides trapped in the same trench. The Alpha team was watching the situation, thinking it was a blatant provocation. What's going on? Let me take a look. Are they our people? There's nothing written on his shorts. How would I know? Call and report to the higher-ups. What should I say? Just say a corpse came back to life. Both sides began to speculate about which side the person belonged to. Wearing only shorts made it hard to tell. One side decided, who cares which side he's on, bring my Italian cannon over first. Bomb him for 3 minutes, then we'll talk. The two were so scared they quickly hid in a pit. Outside, the artillery was relentless. Inside the pit, they started arguing. It's all your fault for starting the war. No, it's your fault. At this moment, Jia Yi remembered he had a gun. Who really started the war? It was us. We started it. Then why were you so stubborn just now? Get out of here. After the shelling stopped, Jia Yi walked out of the pit. At this moment, Jia groaned. He had been blasted back to life. Before he could get up, Jia Yi went over and pinned him down. But looking at Jia Yi's expression, it didn't seem like he was joking. Jia quieted down. Jia Yi asked Yi to come over and defuse the bomb. How would I know how to do that? While Jia Yi was tending to Jia Yi quietly picked up the gun, and now he was in control. Jia Yi wanted to smoke a cigarette, and Yi asked him for one. Yi lit a cigarette and started smoking. He pointed the gun at Jia Yi and asked, who really started the war? It was us. We started it, said Jia from the ground. At this point, who cares who started it? We're all equally unlucky. Jia wanted a cigarette, and kind-hearted Yi squatted down to give him one. Jia took the opportunity to grab Yi. Put the gun down, or if I make a move, we're both done for. Once person A1 got the gun, person A2 finally let go. Now it's fair, both of them have guns in their hands. Then, stand firm, and an unbelievable scene unfolded. Just a moment ago, there was a blatant provocation, and now there are two of them, both greeting their own troops. Party B recognized person B2 by his stylish haircut. In this situation, it's best to report to the United Nations. The officer from Party A also said he had never seen such a situation and suggested reporting to the United Nations as well. The peacekeeping captain received the message and sent the peacekeeping sergeant to check the situation. Inside, the two started chatting and were amazed to discover that person A1's girlfriend was actually person B2's classmate, which both found incredible. Soldiers from both opposing sides were trapped in the same trench, and to rescue their own team members, both sides reported to the United Nations. It's not yet clear, with artillery fire raging on the front lines, peacekeepers are in great danger. They called the peacekeeping colonel to ask what to do, but the colonel's side was no less intense than the front lines. He just said, "Neither side is willing to ceasefire, just have the subordinates retreat." The peacekeepers arrived at the trench, and the sergeant wanted to go forward to check on Person A2's situation, but both rushed to stop him. Person A2 took out a bouncing bullet from his bag. The sergeant was dumbfounded on the spot. "This requires the bomb squad to come over." The sergeant reported the situation to the captain, hoping to send a landmine expert over. However, the captain ordered him to retreat immediately. The peacekeepers had to obey orders and hoped that Person A1 and the others would leave together, but Person A1 was unwilling to abandon his comrades on the ground. Of course, he also wouldn't allow Person B2 to leave. Yet Person B2 insisted on leaving. Suddenly, there was a cry, a gunshot, and a hit to the leg. The peacekeepers were terrified. These are two madmen. They hurriedly retreated. On the way, they were stopped by a reporter. It turned out the reporter had eavesdropped on the peacekeeping force's communications. The reporter requested to go to the trench together. The peacekeepers were initially unwilling, but feared the negative impact if the news got out, so they had to ask for instructions from their superiors again. Facing media reports, the colonel had no choice but to agree to the request. In the trench, Person B2 was bandaging his wound, and Person A1 was scratching an itch for Person A2. Person A2 felt very comfortable. While Person A1 and Person A2 were chatting, Person A2 quietly picked up a dagger and, when Person A1 wasn't paying attention, lunged with the dagger. At this moment, the peacekeeping forces arrived just in time and rushed forward. The door opened, and the two, Ja and cried with excitement. Finally, they were saved. Then, the captain and the landmine expert also arrived. The reporter followed them to grab the website number. The reporter found Ja Yi. "Can I interview you?" "Get lost." The reporter then found Yi. "Did you plant the landmine?" The landmine expert put on the bomb suit, and for safety, the two were asked to leave. "Stand still." The expert came to Ja's side, took out a bunch of professional tools, and after a fierce operation, sweat was dripping from the expert's face. Then, he found the peacekeeper and said, "There are too many rocks. After all this time, I still haven't seen what the landmine looks like." At this moment, the sergeant took one out, and the expert was dumbfounded. "This thing can't be dismantled at all. Once activated, it must explode. The thing on the ground is doomed." Just when they were at a loss, the colonel arrived by helicopter with his secretary. Taking advantage of the chaos, Ja pretended to stumble near the body and hid the gun on himself. The colonel walked towards the trench. Before he could be briefed, a soldier was lying on the ground. That landmine couldn't be dismantled. "What should we do?" Back to standing still, pretending to be busy. Suddenly, Ja Yi pointed a gun at Yi. The reporters hurried to film. "You bloodthirsty vultures only know how to profit from others' pain." Yi took the opportunity to grab the gun from the peacekeeper. Ja Yi cried and shot Yi. He was then shot to death in the chaos. Both sides ended up dead. Looking at the bodies on the ground, the reporter hurriedly asked, "Did the cameraman get it all?" The scene just now shocked everyone. The colonel called the captain over and gave some instructions. Then, a body was carried onto the helicopter. The colonel informed everyone that the landmine had been dismantled. The rescued soldier was weak and needed treatment. A press conference would be held later. The cameraman wanted to film it, but the station reporter said. Then, everyone drove away. Meanwhile, in the trench, Ja was still lying there all alone, quietly waiting for death. The movie, No Man's Land, ends here. The absurdity of war, the unscrupulousness of the media, the indifference of politicians, the uselessness of neutrality. No matter which country starts a war, it is always the civilians who suffer. May the world be forever at peace. Alright, if you want to see more great movie reviews, please follow me. Bye bye.
Yeah.